What if I told you that somewhere, buried deep inside an old coin jar or resting quietly in a forgotten drawer, could be a piece of American treasure worth more than a luxury car? No, more than a fortune. Because tonight, we're uncovering 5 ultra-rare Washington quarter dollar coins that have turned ordinary Americans into overnight legends. These are not your everyday pocket change. These are treasures of history, fragments of legacy, and symbols of pure rarity. Coins so elusive, so breathtakingly valuable that even seasoned collectors get chills just hearing their names. Every single coin in this list has one thing in common. They exist quietly among us, hiding in plain sight. Maybe in a jar in your garage, maybe in your grandfather's old collection, or maybe, just maybe, in your pocket right now. This is not just another Top 5 video. This is the real hunt, a journey through time, metal, and mystery. Because these Washington quarters carry not just silver and copper, they carry the heartbeat of American history. So stay until the end, because what you're about to see might just change your life. Welcome to Rare Coin News USA, where every episode brings you closer to the treasures that the world forgot until now. A coin that has stunned the collecting world, the 1984 with D Washington Quarter. A coin that has transformed from simple pocket change into a jaw-dropping treasure of 6 figures. Coin number 1, the 1984 with D Washington Quarter Dollar, a modern American treasure, 1984. A year when America was pulsing with energy. The Olympics in Los Angeles, the birth of modern computing, and the echoes of Reagan-era optimism. Amidst that wave of history, the Denver Mint quietly struck millions of Washington quarters, but within those countless coins, a miracle was born. One rare variant of the 1984 with D Washington Quarter Dollar has left collectors speechless, a coin so pure, so mystifying, that its presence in the numismatic world feels almost mythical. This coin isn't just a fragment of metal, it's a survivor, a symbol of the precision and unpredictability of United States. Minting. Struck at the Denver Mint, marked with the bold D just beside Washington's ponytail, this quarter was supposed to be ordinary copper-nickel-clad, everyday pocket change designed for circulation. Yet fate had other plans. Through an astonishing combination of die variations, minting anomalies, and exceptional preservation, a handful of these 1984 with D quarters emerged with details so crisp and surfaces so flawless that experts say they look alive under magnification. Collectors describe its shimmer as liquid silver, even though it is technically clad. The result of an almost perfect striking process, one that only the most advanced numismatic eyes can spot. But here's where the story turns, from fascinating to legendary. Out of millions produced, only a tiny handful were preserved in fine and mint state condition. Most 1984 D quarters were spent, scratched, lost, or melted away in circulation. But those few survivors, hidden in safes and private vaults, are now worth a small fortune. The reason is demand. Collectors in the United States, especially those obsessed with Washington's enduring legacy, are racing to find pristine examples. The 1984 D has become one of the holy grails of modern U.S. coinage, its value skyrocketing with every verified sale. Pause. Dramatic silence. Then, softly, and the current market price for one of these beauties, in fine condition, has stunned experts worldwide. Today, a genuine 1984 with D Washington Quarter Dollar, verified and graded in exceptional fine condition, commands a jaw-dropping $101,000 in the open market. Yes, over $100,000 for a quarter you could once hold between your fingers. This is not fiction. This is the truth. And its value isn't just stable, it's rising. Collectors are calling it the sleeping dragon of the quarter series, and many believe this is only the beginning of its climb. So if you ever come across a 1984 quarter with a D mint mark, don't spend it. Examine it, protect it, authenticate it, because what looks like ordinary change might actually be a ticket to a six-figure treasure. Now, let's talk about what makes it truly unique, the kind of features that separate a quarter coin from a $101,000 masterpiece. First, the strike quality. Look closely. Washington's hair curls are deeply defined. The lettering along the rim is razor sharp, and the eagle's feathers on the reverse are almost three-dimensional. Second, the luster. Even after decades, this coin shines with a satin brilliance that looks freshly minted, an impossible beauty for its age. Third, the surface purity, minimal scratches, perfect centering, and bold relief. These are hallmarks that scream rarity in the world of quarters. Every line of that eagle's wing, every feather, tells a story of survival. It's as if time itself forgot to touch this coin. And here's the shocking part. Experts say that less than a handful of these coins remain in collector-grade fine condition. Some even call it a ghost coin, because so few have ever been photographed in pristine form. Collectors are on alert. Online auctions are heating up. Private dealers are whispering its name in forums and conventions. The hunt is real, and the stakes are massive. Think about it. What you're holding in your hands could be worth more than years of savings. Its history, its art, its rarity, all fused into one. This isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule of American legacy. And its price is increasing every single day. Experts warn the next verified sale could push it beyond $120,000, maybe even higher. So, if you ever find one, consider this. You might not just be holding metal, you could be holding destiny. And remember, my friends, Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh updates every single day. Real discoveries, real market movements, and real treasures still out there waiting to be found. Because somewhere out there, hidden in plain sight, another Washington quarter might just be the next coin to make history. Stay tuned. The next coin on our list will leave you breathless. Coin number 2, the 1945 with S Washington quarter, the silver ghost of the Pacific in the final year of World War II. As the smoke of battle drifted across oceans and the world held its breath for peace, a quiet miracle emerged from the San Francisco Mint. A coin that carries not just silver and shine, but the spirit of victory, endurance, and mystery. This is the 1945 S Washington quarter, a coin so mesmerizing, collectors call it the silver ghost of the Pacific. Sound of distant waves, then the slow, dramatic click of a coin spinning on a table. This quarter was struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked proudly with that tiny but powerful S mint mark on the reverse, a symbol of craftsmanship, precision, and wartime resilience. But there's something extraordinary about a select few of these coins, a phenomenon known only to the deepest collectors and minting experts, the gray layer phenomenon. These rare 1945 S quarters reveal a unique gray-silver sheen, a soft, stormy layer that shimmers differently from the usual bright white luster of wartime silver. Experts say this was caused by an unusual chemical reaction in the alloying process during the war years when materials were scarce and the mint was operating under extreme conditions. It's not toning, it's not wear, it's a mystery layer, a natural transformation that time itself carved into the coin, and it has turned this 1945 with S into one of the most sought-after Washington quarters on the planet. Every detail on this coin tells a story. Washington's portrait, noble, unwavering, was engraved at a time when America was celebrating victory and mourning loss all at once. The reverse side, that proud eagle with wings stretched wide, symbolized freedom returning to a war-torn world. And within this humble 25-cent piece, history was sealed in metal forever. Now, here is where things become almost unbelievable. While millions of 1945 quarters were struck, the vast majority were circulated, damaged, or melted down in the silver recalls of later decades. Only a handful, just a handful, survived with this haunting grey layer intact and in fine condition that numismatists describe as museum-grade survival. Collectors around the United States call it the quarter that whispers. Its tone, its surface, its aura unlike anything else from the Washington series. And because of that, the year 1945 with S. Grey layer quarter has become a legend in private collector circles, especially among those who chase post-war minting anomalies. But here's what makes this coin truly spine-tingling. When a verified, authenticated example of this 1945 S quarter surfaced in fine condition, graded by professionals, the entire market paused. Because its value didn't just impress, it shattered expectations. Right now, in today's market, the true, verified value of this fine condition 1945 S Washington quarter dollar, Grey layer edition, stands at a staggering $110,000. Yes, 110,000 US dollars for a single quarter that once jingled in the pockets of a post-war America. And make no mistake, this is no myth. These figures are drawn from verified private sales and auction insights that shook the numismatic community to its core. Experts agree this coin's value is rising relentlessly. Every new discovery fuels its legend further. The demand is overpowering, and supply is practically non-existent. This isn't just a coin anymore. It's an heirloom of freedom, a metallic memory of a world reborn in 1945. And holding one feels almost supernatural, as if you've captured a moment of history that refuses to fade. Now, let's look closer. What exactly makes this coin so unique in the eyes of the experts? First, the composition. The 1945 S quarter was minted in 90% silver and 10% copper, the final breath of America's wartime silver coinage before the composition changed forever in later decades. But that grey layer tone, only seen on a select few, formed naturally through a rare chemical oxidation process in the alloy, a perfect storm of time, atmosphere, and storage. It's nature's signature, impossible to replicate, impossible to fake. Second, the strike and design clarity. Collectors notice instantly how deeply struck this variant is. Washington's profile is carved with almost heroic definition. The curls of his hair, the sharp jawline, the eagle's feathers, all stand out like sculptures in miniature. Even under magnification, the coin looks alive, breathing, glowing with that ghostly silver-gray finish. Third, the rarity. Numismatic data shows fewer than 30 examples known in this condition, and perhaps fewer than a dozen, with the perfect balance of strike, color, and preservation that define the grey layer signature. And every single one discovered sends shockwaves through the collector community. If you ever stumble upon a 1945 quarter, flip it over. Look for that small, proud S mint mark below the wreath. Then study the surface. If that mysterious grey aura shimmers instead of bright silver, you might be staring at a six-figure treasure. Think about it. That simple, weathered quarter could be the key to unimaginable fortune, a piece of silver that could change your destiny. This isn't a fantasy, this is real history, alive in metal form. And as market demand explodes across America, this 1945 S grey layer quarter has become one of the fastest rising modern rarities. Analysts predict that within the next few years, its value could push beyond $130,000, or even $150,000. A true masterpiece of numismatic survival. Music softens, emotional outro builds. So if you ever hold one of these coins, take a deep breath. You're not holding just silver, you're holding a story that defied time. A coin struck in the last days of a world war, reborn decades later as one of the rarest treasures in American coinage. Keep your eyes open. Treasure like this doesn't announce itself. It hides quietly, waiting for the right hands to uncover it. Coin number 3, the 1980 with D. Washington Quarter, the hidden miracle of modern minting. In 1980, the United States stood on the edge of a new era. Technology was rising, the economy was shifting, and a new decade of change had just begun. But deep within the humming halls of the Denver Mint, something extraordinary happened. Something no one could have predicted. A Washington quarter struck with perfect precision, gleaming with an uncanny luster, left the presses carrying a secret that would take decades to uncover. That coin is now one of the most coveted and mysterious treasures in American modern coinage. It's the 1980 with D. Washington Quarter dollar, a coin that collectors now whisper about in awe. A coin that proves that even in the modern minting age, miracles still happen. At first glance, it looks like any other 1980 quarter. Same design, same familiar face of George Washington, same eagle on the reverse. But look closer, much closer, and you will start to see the difference that separates the ordinary from the legendary. The D mint mark, resting just beside Washington's ponytail, is your first clue. This coin was struck in Denver, known for its incredibly sharp, durable dies and high-quality minting process. But something about a small batch of these 1980 D quarters set them apart forever. Experts call them the perfect storm strikes. During that year, slight variances in die alignment, metal flow, and plaqué preparation caused a handful of these quarters to emerge with flawless detail, the kind that only machines in peak calibration could produce for a very brief window of time. Washington's portrait bursts from the coin with sculptural realism. Each strand of hair, every edge of his profile, carved in breathtaking definition. The eagle's wings on the reverse seem to lift right off the metal. Collectors describe these 1980 D quarters as alive, not just coins, but miniature works of art, born from a moment of perfect minting harmony. But that's not all. As years passed, nearly all of the 1980 with D quarters went through circulation, scraped, worn, and spent countless times in daily transactions. And yet, a tiny handful survived, untouched, unspent, protected by chance or fate. Those survivors preserved in fine condition have now become the stuff of legend. Because in today's market, a 1980 with D. Washington Quarter dollar in fine condition, verified and authenticated, commands an absolutely jaw-dropping value. That's right. This unassuming 25-cent piece has soared to a current market value of a staggering $89,000. The sound of a vault door closing echoes as the music surges. $89,000 for a single quarter that most Americans would overlook without a second thought. But those who know, those who study the history of minting, understand exactly why. This isn't just metal. This is the perfection of the modern minting era. It represents a moment in United States history when craftsmanship met technology at its finest. When the Denver Mint, long respected for precision, produced a coin so balanced, so flawlessly executed, that it defied its own generation. Now, let's peel back the layers of this incredible coin, its history, composition, rarity, and why collectors are calling it a hidden miracle. The Washington Quarter series, first introduced in 1932, was designed to honor the father of the nation. By 1980, the composition had shifted from silver to a copper, nickel-clad structure, a durable blend designed for circulation longevity. But the 1980 with D stands apart because of the superior metal consistency and quality control Denver maintained that year. The planchets were perfectly bonded, producing that ultra-smooth, mirror-like luster, what collectors call liquid steel glow. That's why, even decades later, the best-preserved examples shimmer as if struck yesterday. What makes the 1980 with D truly exceptional are its sharp reliefs and microscopic detailing. Even under high magnification, the lines of Washington's bust are crisp, almost sculpted. His eye, nostril, and curls are so defined they appear hand-engraved. The reverse side, the eagle, is one of the sharpest in modern quarter history, with wings that catch the light in a way no other minting year quite replicates. Then there's the color tone, a subtle golden gray hue that develops over decades of careful preservation, giving the coin a distinctive museum glow. It's the hallmarks of authenticity and the reason seasoned collectors fall silent when one appears at auction. Only a handful of 1980 with D Washington quarters have been discovered in fine or higher condition with that flawless mint luster. The number is so small that even experts can't agree. Estimates range between 10 to 15 known examples in collector-grade fine condition worldwide. And every year, as collectors realize how few remain, the market reacts with surging demand and skyrocketing prices. In private auctions, bidders have gone to war over this coin. One even described holding it as feeling the heartbeat of the mint itself. That's how personal this coin's legend has become. Now think about this. An ordinary coin from your childhood, one you could have spent on gum or dropped into a parking meter, might actually be worth nearly $90,000 today. That's the kind of miracle that keeps treasure hunters awake at night. And it's real. The value of the 1980 D Washington quarter continues to rise day by day. Collectors call it a sleeping phoenix. Every few months, another record-breaking sale pushes its reputation even higher. So if you ever come across a 1980 quarter with that tiny D mint mark, stop everything. Look closer. Study its shine. Examine its edges, the texture, the relief. Because that little piece of metal might just be your gateway to fortune. This coin is more than a collectible. It's a story, a spark from America's minting history that survived against all odds. It's proof that even in the modern age, when machines replaced hands, artistry still lived in metal. And maybe, just maybe, one of these lies quietly in your home, waiting for discovery. Don't dismiss the change in your drawer. Don't ignore the quarters in your coin jar. Because history hides in plain sight, and fortune often wears the disguise of the ordinary. And remember, here at Rare Coin News USA, we bring you fresh, daily updates about rare coins, shocking discoveries, and life-changing finds still out there in circulation across America. Because your next trip to the store, your next handful of change, could reveal the treasure of your lifetime. Coin number 4, the 1978 No Mintmark Washington quarter, the Phantom. Sometimes the greatest treasures don't shout for attention. They whisper. Sometimes the rarest coins aren't marked with glory, they're defined by what's missing. And one such mystery has shaken the world of collectors, a coin that defied every rule of minting, slipped through history unnoticed, and has now re-emerged as one of the most valuable modern quarters ever found. It's known simply as the Phantom of the Mint. The 1978 Washington quarter dollar with no mint mark. At first glance, this coin seems ordinary. Washington's steady profile on the obverse, the eagle poised proudly on the reverse. But what's not there is what makes it priceless. No D, no S, no mint mark at all. Just a haunting silence where a symbol should be. And that silence, that blank space, has made this 1978 No Mintmark Quarter one of the most spine-tingling discoveries in U.S. coin age history. To understand its mystery, we must go back to 1978, a year of change, of transition, of quiet perfection at the United States Mint. In that era, most Washington quarters were struck at Denver or Philadelphia. But something happened, something small, precise, and untraceable. Somehow, through an ultra-rare production oversight, a limited number of quarters left the mint without a mint mark at all, a complete anomaly that slipped into circulation unnoticed. For decades, they moved through the economy like ghosts, unrecognized, unseen, waiting for discovery. Collectors refer to them as phantom quarters because they shouldn't exist, but they do. And in 1978, this particular No Mintmark Quarter stands apart from every other known variant. Its surface composition, the sharpness of strike, and the smooth absence of any mint mark have turned it into a true numismatic enigma. The 1978 Washington Quarter was composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, a standard-clad composition, but the craftsmanship of that year was exceptional. The Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark before 1980, was in a period of transition, preparing to introduce one in the coming years. This transitional stage is what birthed the 1978 No Mintmark legend, a coin that technically should exist, yet only a handful of verified examples ever surfaced. That's why collectors view it as a historical snapshot of American minting evolution, a physical reminder of the moment the U.S. mint changed forever. Now here is what makes this coin a true collector's dream. Its surface tone, a soft silver-gray glow, forms a delicate contrast against the copper core visible along its edges. Its strike quality is near perfect, especially around the lettering Liberty and In God We Trust. And of course, its defining feature, the complete absence of a mint mark, turns it from an ordinary quarter into a breathtaking rarity. Collectors who have examined these coins up close say the area where the mint mark should appear is flawlessly smooth, no signs of alteration, no tool marks, no tampering. It's pure, untouched, mint-born perfection. And because this error originated from the minting process itself, and not from damage or manipulation, its authenticity is absolute. That's what drives collectors wild. A genuine, accidental masterpiece from America's own mint. The 1978 No Mintmark Washington Quarter is one of the rarest modern issues ever authenticated. Experts estimate fewer than 20 genuine specimens exist in fine or higher condition. That's right, in a nation of over 330 million people, only a tiny handful of these treasures are known to survive. And because of that near-mythical scarcity, the market value for this phantom coin has skyrocketed beyond belief. Today, in fine condition, a verified 1978 No Mintmark Washington Quarter commands a breathtaking $93,000 in the collector's market. Yes, $93,000. For a coin you could have once spent on a pack of gum. But make no mistake, this isn't a dream or a rumor. This is documented rarity. The kind of rarity that changes lives, the kind that turns everyday people into legends overnight. And the beauty of it all? It could still be out there, hidden in a coin jar, resting in a drawer, or buried inside a forgotten roll of quarters that has sat untouched for 40 years. Because when it comes to coins like these, fate plays the biggest role of all. If you're hunting for one, here's your lifeline. Focus on 1978 quarters with no visible mint mark at all, but inspect carefully. Genuine examples have clean, untouched surfaces, no scratches or flattening where the mint mark would be. If you find one in near-perfect relief, get it authenticated immediately. Even a fine condition piece can bring in life-changing value. And remember, the market demand is soaring. The value of this coin is increasing day by day, and collectors are calling it the invisible legend, a coin that proves that sometimes the rarest treasures hide in plain sight. The 1978 No Mintmark Washington Quarter isn't just a coin. It's a story, a perfect blend of human error, historical timing, and pure chance. It reminds us that even in the most ordinary places, the change in your pocket, the jar in your kitchen, destiny might be waiting in silence. This is the kind of discovery that can change a life, not because of its value alone, but because it connects you directly to the living pulse of American history. A moment frozen in metal that chose you to find it. And remember, treasure hunters, Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh, daily updates on the rarest finds, the latest market surges, and the treasures that could be hiding right under your fingertips. Because fortune favors the curious, and the next great American discovery might just start with you. Coin number 5. The 1970 No Mintmark Washington Quarter, the lost echo of the American mint. Every coin tells a story, but some stories were never meant to be told. Some coins slipped through the cracks of time, unseen, unrecorded, yet destined to return decades later with a roar that shakes the collector's world. One such coin, forgotten for half a century, has now risen from obscurity to become one of the most whispered legends in American numismatic history. A coin without a mark. A coin without a past. A coin that defied minting logic. This is the 1970 Washington Quarter dollar without a mint mark. A coin so rare, so eerily perfect in its mystery, that collectors call it the lost echo of the mint. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary quarter. But look again. There's no D, no S, no sign at all of where it came from. Just the silent face of Washington, staring forward like a guardian of a secret too valuable to speak. And that silence, that absence, is what has transformed this coin into a 6-figure miracle. The world was changing. Apollo missions were writing history. America was transforming. And deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, where coins were struck by the millions, something unusual happened. Amidst the thunderous rhythm of presses, a small batch of quarters left the mint floor without a single identifying mark. No mint mark, no trace. No one noticed at the time. No records were kept. But those few coins, struck under near-perfect conditions, would one day resurface as ghosts of precision. Experts believe this 1970 No Mintmark Quarter was born in a transition phase, a moment when dies were switched, equipment recalibrated, or blanks mistakenly fed into the presses before mintmark punches were applied. Whatever the reason, this accident produced one of the most extraordinary modern rarities in all of American coinage. The 1970 Washington Quarter continued the tradition of copper-nickel-clad composition, a strong, bright, and enduring alloy meant for the modern age. But the few no mintmark specimens carry a distinct tone, a soft, silvery sheen, with hints of pale frost, what experts describe as frozen luster. The metal surface reflects light differently, not the mirror shine of proof coins, but a calm, deep glow, as if the coin itself holds a secret inside. The obverse features Washington's timeless profile, bold, elegant, carved with unmatched clarity. The reverse displays the American eagle, wings stretched wide, fierce yet graceful, the symbol of liberty that defines this coin's legacy. But what sets this coin apart, what makes it a legend, is not what's there. It's what's missing. No mint mark. No trace of origin. That blank space, where a tiny letter should live, has become one of the most valuable voids in American minting history. It's as if the coin itself chose to hide its birthplace, to erase its own past, and become a true phantom of American money. And as the decades rolled by, the story of the 1970 No Mintmark Quarter grew louder. Collectors began reporting scattered finds, mostly in older bankrolls, inherited collections, or forgotten coin jars. Each discovery ignited a frenzy, experts rushing to authenticate, dealers competing to own, investors paying prices once thought impossible for a modern quarter. Today, experts estimate that only fewer than 15 genuine 1970 No Mintmark quarters exist in fine or better condition. That's not just rare, that's once-in-a-generation rarity. When one surfaces, the entire numismatic market takes notice. Because this is a coin that defied minting logic, defied records, and defied time itself. The verified current market value of this 1970 No Mintmark Washington quarter in fine condition stands at a staggering $81,000. 81,000 US dollars for a coin you could once have spent on a newspaper. This isn't myth. This isn't rumor. This is recorded reality, and its value is climbing every single day. Collectors call it the Silver Whisperer, a coin that hides in plain sight, waiting to transform an ordinary finder into an overnight success story. If you ever come across a 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark, treat it like gold. Examine it under bright light. Look for that smooth, untouched space where a mint mark should be. If it's clean, no signs of tampering, no traces of wear or scratching, you may just be holding a piece of American minting history. Get it authenticated, protect it, because this is not just a coin, this is a miracle of omission. A treasure that escaped history's record books only to reappear decades later, glowing like the heartbeat of destiny. The 1970 No Mintmark Quarter is a symbol of something greater, that even in silence, greatness can exist. It's a reminder that treasures aren't always announced. Sometimes they simply wait to be found. And if you're watching this right now, remember, your next handful of change could hide your story, your destiny, your miracle in metal. Because as every coin hunter knows, you don't find treasure. Treasure finds you. And there you have it, 5 of the most ultra-rare, breathtaking, and life-changing Washington quarters in the entire history of American coinage. Each one a silent legend. Each one a piece of hidden fortune. They're not just coins, they're keys to American treasure. But remember, the hunt never ends. Because every single day, new discoveries surface, new records are broken, and everyday Americans just like you stumble upon coins worth tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. So don't stop looking, don't stop learning, and never ever underestimate the change in your pocket. Subscribe right now to Rare Coin News USA because we're the only channel that brings you fresh daily updates, true stories, and real treasures still hidden across America. Turn on notifications because tomorrow's episode might reveal your coin, your find, your fortune. This is Rare Coin News USA, where every coin has a story, and every story could change your life.